too. Oh my God. We're down. We have 4 games left and Utah's walked to 7-1. What even
Exactly. It's crazy. That's where Utah lucked out with the schedule. But even what I'm saying, BYU, it's by far their most expensive ticket. So there's a lot of excitement to have this rivalry back. And this is another one where, like, if it's in Provo, I feel a little better about it. And then, like, I know that's not a weather thing because they play in the same state, but there's something about having the crowd getting rowdy on third down, all of that. And, fans get really fired up for this rivalry too. So I do think that this is one that I like. You're making some interesting faces right now. You want to jump in on the BYU one, Drake?
Gosh, these last 4 games, and you might be shocked to know, I think that the 3 toughest on the schedule for Utah will be on the road against Oklahoma State. I'm going to go at UCF, and I think that home game against BYU, because of the pomp and circumstance, becomes one that could be a trap game. And then maybe even like I'm at this point, I'm digging. I am taking what I know about the Big 12, which is most years your number 1, number 2 team will lose a stupid game. Will have something where you go, well, that makes no sense. And that's A1. A2 is Kyle Whittingham does the same thing. There's always that one game, or at least one, where it's a big matchup. Maybe it's a 7-point spread, and Utah finds a way to get upset. Hence why he's had these 2, 3, 4 loss seasons that have still been wildly successful. So as I'm digging, even we're talking BYU, I am digging here to see which one of these could Utah trip up in. And it's just so tough to bet against the Utes in any of these.
Mm-hmm. It absolutely is. And it's, once again, like you said, those reasons, like, I don't feel like they're going to slip up much. I actually don't have them going 7-0 to finish the season. I do have them beating BYU. I like them against Iowa State. And you're right, that's a long way to go against UCF. But I just feel like with what's on the line at that moment for them, because they should be in such a strong position to make the Pac-12 championship, I just don't see it. And I know it didn't work out great last time Utah went out to Florida, but traveling out to Florida in December is a lot better. Or excuse me, late November is a lot better than late August, which is the last time Utah made it there. But for the exact reason you have talked about, Drake, you don't see teams go undefeated in college football. It's so rare. It's so hard. Utah couldn't even do it back in 2019 when they were really good. They lost at USC, and that was such a weird loss. It was actually Keaton Slovis, who just played for BYU this last year. But one of those ones, like, how did that happen? Like, it's weird. It doesn't make much sense. But matchups were key in that game. The receivers for the Trojans, that was like Michael Pittman Jr. was there. I think Drake London was there at the time. Like, they went off. They had a huge game. And obviously Slovis played well too. And that's the one thing with Utah still. I like what they've done retooling the secondary, but I think an elite quarterback will have a chance to make some plays. And there is one quarterback in the Big 12 in particular that I think has a really good shot to not just be a Heisman contender, but honestly be the first overall pick in the 2025 draft. And I know it sounds a little crazy, but I'm very high on Shedeur Sanders. I think he's really good. And once again, Utah should not lose to Colorado. It shouldn't happen. They're the better overall team. But there's no question in my mind, as much as I like Cam Rising, that Shedeur Sanders is the best quarterback on the field. If everyone's healthy for them, it's at Colorado. They can make some big, crazy plays. When I look at the schedule, I'm like, where's the loss for Utah? That's right now where I'm going to say it comes. I'm going to take Colorado and what would be a crazy upset because of a great Shedeur Sanders performance. And once again, like, who are the last couple of quarterbacks who have beaten Utah? You're talking about a DJU. You're talking about a Bo Nix. You're talking about a Michael Penix. Even Fafita, as I already mentioned, in Arizona on the road still. And that's the key. Those were on the road outside of Bo Nix, but Cam Rising didn't even play Bo Nix last year. When he did play him 2 years ago, lost to him. I'm going to take Shedeur Sanders. So that will be my one loss. I have Utah going 11-1.
You have Utah going 11-1 and losing to a 7-5 team. That is maniacal, my friend. Colorado is not going to be 12-0.
Hey, that's all I've heard about the Big 12, right?
That is the Big 12. That's why I think that Utah ends up losing to Oklahoma State and UCF. And you go, Utah's not going to lose to UCF. And you're exactly right. That's why they're losing to UCF in my book. It's like, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't. That should be the last game. And to me, we get to that last weekend and think, all right, Utah's already clinched an appearance in the Big 12 championship.
I like the sound of that.
Knowing that Utah is going to, knowing that Utah with the Big 12 championship win is going to the college football playoff no matter what, because of the new format, the 6+6 or the 5+7. I don't think Utah takes the gas off the brakes a little bit, but then you start to talk about what it's like in the NFL when these teams clinch and they don't have to give all the juice that last week. I don't think Kyle Whittingham's that guy, but it's in the psyche of a 20-year-old. Hey, we don't have to take care of business this week. All we have to do is win next week, and we clear. We're good. So a road trip to Florida against a UCF team that might finish 7-5, 8-4, and be pesky. I can see Utah losing and still winning a Big 12 championship. That's where I have Utah going 10-2.
And to your point, Drake, we saw a lot of teams like when they were in that kind of like a strong, like I said, Utah's case in strong position, or other teams this year, such as like if they had coaches fired or like just it got to that point in the year where they were bowl eligible, like they just gave in. I like Gus Malzahn as a head coach, and I also like KJ Jefferson. Like if you're telling me that Utah needs that game and KJ Jefferson at home like outplayed Cam Rising, like KJ Jefferson's good. Like that's not that crazy thing to me. So like I could still see a loss in that one as well. I think that is one of the tougher games. I liked when you went through the games. I would have Arizona somewhere in that toughest slate that you kind of listed, but they being at home is what does once again make it really tough. And the rivalry implications on BYU will make it interesting too. But it is going to be interesting to see what kind of the first year holds for Utah in the Big 12. But based on how it all played out, we had Utah in the Big 12 championship game. So I want to talk about what it could look like for them if they make it, and if they'd actually be able to seal the deal and win their new conference in their first year in one moment. But first, I want to talk to all of you about another sponsor of our episode of Locked On Utes today. It's our friends at UCCU. Learn and Earn, the UCCU mobile banking app that pays your entire family to learn about money. Kids look to parents to become more financially literate. Parents don't always know the answers. Learn and Earn breaks down financial topics into fun, bite-sized educational games like quizzes and trivia. Every time a family member completes a topic, they earn points that can occur and can be redeemed for gift cards to stores like Amazon, Apple, Sephora, Walmart, Nike, and more. There is age-appropriate content for every member of the family who can compete against each other and track their progress on leaderboards. Learn and Earn is inside the UCCU mobile banking app, so play it anytime, anywhere. The more you play, the more you learn, and the more you learn, the more you earn. Learn and Earn, part of UCCU's award-winning Be Money Smart Youth Banking Program, helping kids, teens, and parents have fun while becoming more financially literate together. UCCU, love where you bank.